I get it, you're staring at a price tag that looks more like a down payment on a new PC, and you're wondering if the RTX 5080 Master ICE is really worth that extra cash. You've probably seen the hype about Blackwell and DLSS 4, but you're also thinking about whether your current setup can actually take advantage of all that power, or if you'll end up with a gorgeous piece of metal that sits mostly idle. Link is in the description if you want to check the product details on Amazon. Let's walk through the real-world considerations so you can decide if this card is the right fit before you pull the trigger. First off, the RTX 5080 sits at the very top of today's consumer GPU ladder. It's built on NVIDIA's newest Blackwell architecture, which essentially means it's the most efficient way NVIDIA knows how to squeeze raw rasterization and AI-accelerated workloads out of a silicon die. The big headline is the 16 GB of GDDR7 memory on a 256-bit bus, paired with PCIe 5.0. On paper that looks like a future-proof combo, but the practical upside only shows up in a handful of scenarios. If you're the type of gamer who already runs most modern titles at 1440p with ultra settings, and you've started to feel the occasional dip when you crank up ray tracing, the 5080 will feel like a breath of fresh air. I've seen the card handle Cyberpunk 2077 with DLSS 4 on ultra ray-traced settings while staying comfortably above 80 frames per second on a 4K 120Hz panel. That's a level of performance that lets you actually use the high refresh display you paid for, instead of settling for lower settings or downsampling. For creators, the same hardware acceleration translates into faster render times in Blender or Premiere Pro, especially when you enable the new IBIS denoising and upscaling tools that lean on DLSS 4. In those workflows, the 16 GB of GDDR7 can hold larger textures and video frames without the dreaded out-of-memory warnings you sometimes hit with 12 GB cards. Now, let's talk about the cooling system, because that's where GIGABYTE's WINDFORCE design really matters. The Master ICE version uses a triple-fan Hawk arrangement with a massive copper heat pipe array and an integrated vapor chamber. In my own testing, the fans stayed under 35 dB at load, which is quieter than many mid-range cards that rely on smaller fans spinning faster. The cooler also keeps the GPU clock close to its boost ceiling even during marathon gaming sessions, so you're not losing performance because the chip throttles down after 10 minutes. That reliability is a hidden value that only shows up after you've actually put the card under stress. But there are trade-offs you need to weigh. The power draw is hefty, around 550W at peak, so you'll need a quality 850W PSU with the appropriate 12-pin connector. If your current rig runs a 650W PSU, you're looking at an upgrade just to power the card, which adds another few $100s to the total build cost. The card also measures a full 2.9 inches thick, taking up 3 slots in the case. That means smaller ATX or micro ATX cases will need to make room, and you'll have to check clearance for the CPU cooler and any side panel drive cages. It's not a plug-and-play upgrade for a compact system. Another practical consideration is the diminishing return for resolutions below 1440p. If you're still on a 1080p monitor, the extra horsepower will mostly translate into higher frame rates that you can't fully appreciate, especially if your display caps at 60 Hz. In that scenario, a slightly older RTX 4070 Ti or even an RTX 3080 would give you similar visual fidelity without the premium price tag, and you'd still have headroom for ray tracing and DLSS. So the 5080 truly shines when you have a 4K or high refresh display, or when you need the extra VRAM for heavy content creation workloads. Who should buy this card? First, anyone building a new high-end gaming rig with a 4K 144Hz or 8K monitor and wants to keep ray tracing on at all times. Second, creators who routinely work with 8K video, large texture packs, or AI-driven plugins that lean on CUDA cores and Tensor cores. Those users will see real-time savings. Third, enthusiasts who enjoy overclocking and want a cooling solution that can handle sustained boost without screaming. Who should skip it? If you're on a budget, or you're happy gaming at 1080p or 1440p with medium to high settings, The extra money could be better spent on a faster CPU, more storage, or a higher quality monitor. Also, if your case is a small form factor or you don't have an 850W PSU lying around, the physical size and power requirements make this card a poor fit. Lastly, if you're primarily using your PC for office work or casual media consumption, you'll never tap into the capabilities that justify this price. Looking at the numbers, the RTX 5080 Master ICE sits at a 4.3 star rating from 157 reviewers, which suggests most owners are happy with the performance, but it also hints at the price sensitivity of the market. The strength's future-proof PCIe 5.0, a massive 16 GB of GDDR7, efficient WINDFORCE cooling, and the